guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm the hero. And if you didn't know, I'm a huge nerd, if you couldn't tell by like the pop wall that I have behind me. Yeah, that's not even including another like 200 of them up in my closet. Yeah, I might have an issue, but one of the other things I like to collect is Lego sets, and I recently got into Lego within the last couple years. I used to build Legos when I was a kid, and then of course, like now I feel like everyone's building Legos, and it's not even for kids really anymore. And with those prices, whew, let's be honest, what little kid can actually afford that? So of course, being a fan of something, I'm like, wow, there is so many Lego sets that could be made. After doing a little research, I did find out that even the ones that I have great ideas for, someone else has had. So it's almost like, Lego, why aren't you doing it? So I'm always going to different Lego stores and just trying to scope out the area to see what else is coming out, trying to keep up with the Lego news when I can, because I absolutely just love Legos. And the recent two sets I bought was this big, huge freaking Simba collector's edition, which is like insane. Of course I could have got the $20 cheaper one, but it wouldn't have been the collector version now, would it? And then of course, like I have Bumblebee from Transformers literally outside. That is literally the car I own with the Autobot stickers, Autobot symbols, everything. So of course, when they came out with the Bumblebee figure, I had to grab me one of those as well. And because I have a Disney annual pass at Disney World, when I go to that Lego store, I get 10% off. So it really made me start thinking about what kind of Lego sets I want to see in the future. Stuff that I'm a big fan of, pop culture wise, whatever, that I would just love to collect. Because honestly, I think my whole house could be Legos. I mean, imagine if they like made a Lego shelf where you could put all your other Legos on top of and you could just place them into the little pegs. Like, I mean, wouldn't that be freaking awesome? So here is 10 Lego sets that I believe that we should see in the future. Obviously, I have way more ideas, and after researching, I've seen a bunch of people had similar ones. If you guys end up enjoying this video and you give it a lot of likes, maybe I'll make another part to this because it's just a big passion of mine, and I hope it's a passion of yours too if you clicked on the video. Let's go ahead and just get to number one. First one that comes to mind when it comes to how Lego does things and what set would actually be really freaking cool to own would be the Jurassic Park Jeep. Now I know some of you are probably like, they made that in the past, and but hear me out. I'm talking about the black box collectible version edition of the Jurassic Park Jeep. Tell me that wouldn't go hard. So imagine like how they did the Back to the Future car. That is what I'm imagining here. Or like how they did the Ghostbusters car. Bring these iconic vehicles from films and movies that everyone loves for years and make them into these collector edition Lego sets. Shoot, I'll pay $250 for a Jurassic Park Jeep. Just like give it to me now. I need it. So someone like from years ago, I found a post of someone that did a mock-up edition of what this would look like. And what they did is actually pretty cool. And I'm like, why hasn't this happened yet? Now I know people can vote on Lego ideas on like the official Lego idea site or whatever it's called. You know, I'm still new into this. I'm still trying to learn, so don't hate on me. But it's one of those where I'm like, why hasn't this been brought up? Why is it not being currently developed? And like, I need to talk to the Lego executives now. And with the massive fan base Jurassic Park has, I feel like this is like a no-brainer. I mean, they've already made so many Jurassic Park sets recently, including a collector's edition of the iconic like T-Rex and 2 Jeep set, which is pretty cool. But I just feel like an actual Jurassic Park Jeep, like the Back to the Future car they made, where you can actually drive it around and stuff, just is iconic, if you ask me. Now, for my second idea, it kind of resonates off of the past one of the Jurassic Park Jeep, right? Because I started immediately thinking of iconic vehicles that we could bring into the atmosphere that they might have touched on, but really haven't made like a collector's edition of, or like a bigger set version of. And the one that came to my mind is with Disney being around and Disney being right into Legos now and creating all their iconic Lego sets, which I've pretty much bought all of them. I mean, can you blame a guy? The Lego set I think they need to make now is a collectible version of Lightning McQueen. Bro, you know how many Lightning McQueen fans I see on a daily at Disney World? Or even out in public, I'll be seeing so many people wearing Cars merch. Like, I'll go to the local Target and someone's wearing a Lightning McQueen bag. I mean, I currently own a bunch of Lightning McQueen stuff. I recently just bought a Lightning McQueen hat. I have a whole, like, racer's jacket that I got for Christmas, as well as I just put down $60 or $80, I can't remember, on Lightning McQueen Crocs. Yeah, your boy going hard in the paint. I got the whole fit. So with the fan base that Cars has, and then it just makes kind of sense because they've already made like little sets for like little kids for Legos for Lightning McQueen and Mater. I just think it makes sense to have a Lightning McQueen one, man. It would be iconic. I guarantee you that set would be one that would sell out within the first day or a couple hours of being out just because of the fan base that exists. And I happen to be one of those people. I mean, Lightning McQueen is iconic, bro. He is the race car. Lego has already done collabs with F1 and NASCAR, but you haven't done the most iconic pop culture race car of all time. Do you want my money or not? All right, so for this third one, let's break away from the cars because otherwise I could go and do a whole video on just like iconic cars that should be made into Lego sets. Could be a great idea. So if you want that, let me know down in the comments. But this next idea is, with it being spooky time, I had my mind on spooky things, and I was like, what is something that would be iconic? The first thought that came to my mind was like a basic jack-o'-lantern, nothing as iconic like I was looking for, and I was like, boom, jack-o'-lantern. The next thought that came to my mind right afterwards was a headless horseman Lego set. Like, literally imagine the headless horseman sitting on top of his iconic horse with a pumpkin holding like he's throwing his pumpkin. Oh my gosh, dude. Please empty my bank account right now. That would be a set that would go so well with anyone that decorated gothic wise or just was a massive fan of Halloween, and they could even make the pumpkin light up, bro. And maybe it's because it's just close to Halloween and I'm just like, wow, this would be really cool. But I literally just recently bought a headless horseman like figure for Halloween decorations, and I was like, wow, it would be really cool if I could have built this. Well, they've made a little minifigure, I think for like Scooby-Doo at one point or something, that looks really cool. I've also seen people do little mock-ups of minifigures of the Headless Horseman, but nothing that is a huge Lego set, you know, like 4,000, 5,000 pieces of just building the iconic Headless Horseman. I realize a lot of these are collector's editions, but I mean, come on, can you blame me? And the vibe that I kind of thought of when it came to doing this one is it kind of reminded me of the old Haunted House collector's edition they made recently, and I felt like that vibe would just translate very well into a collectible version of the Headless Horseman. Is this a weird one? Am I going crazy thinking this is a good idea? Okay, for number 4, I went down the direction of, okay, we've gotten some really, really cool iconic movies, but they don't have anything related to the one true best movie of all time, at least in my opinion. My favorite all-time movie as a Lego set, E.T. Boy, I would go broke. If I wasn't broke already, I would be homeless at this point. Because a E.T. collectible edition figure that is similar to how they did R2-D2 or even Chewbacca or C-3PO recently, oh gosh, it would be so cool. And apparently someone else had this idea because it's literally on Lego Ideas. And I was absolutely blown away by how good this looks, man. I want it now, bro. And with them starting to get into the Steven Spielberg movies, like with Jurassic Park, and now they just made the new Jaws Lego set with the iconic scene. Oh my gosh, I just want this collectible figure. I want a, you know, life-size statue version that I built of E.T. Like, that would be so cool. Can you imagine it just sitting back? Oh my gosh, it would be dope. Which also brought me to my 5th Lego set that I really want, which is based off the iconic Jaws scene that they just made, would be the iconic bike flying scene in E.T. Like, how is that not a thing yet? I think doing movie moments like they've done with the podcast racing from Star Wars, as well as a couple other Star Wars Lego sets they've done, as well as this new Jaws set, I just think it would be really, really cool. Currently, I am building this Indiana Jones set, which, oh, sorry, my light. And it's so cool. It's the literal iconic boulder scene. And I'm just imagining like all these different like movie moments that they can make. And I just feel like the ET one is like, why haven't you yet? I feel like this is one that would definitely come in the future though, even over just a standard ET figure, simply because they've already started these movie moments, as well as this one has been made into pop figures, freaking collectible figures. It's been made in so many things that it just kind of makes sense that Lego should take advantage of this. All right, moving on to 6, because I'm sure you're tired of hearing about ET. One of the things I've noticed that literally Lego hasn't touched, and maybe because it's simply a children's product, is they haven't really jumped into the horror niche yet. There's so many horror icons out there that they haven't even touched. So I figured, what is a good set that I think would be amazing to start off with that is resonates with a bunch of people, one of the biggest horror franchises of all time, and honestly, my favorite horror icon of all time. And that is Michael Myers. With Halloween coming around, it's literally got Halloween in the name. It just makes sense to make a set that is literally Michael Myers' house and have a little minifigure of Michael Myers, a little minifigure of Laurie Strode, and maybe the cop or something. I don't know. But I think that would be pretty iconic if you ask me. And this would be a great way to jump into the horror niche of Lego sets because first off, it's one of the biggest horror movie franchises of all time. And probably, I would say probably has the biggest fan base of any horror movie ever. I could be a little biased there, but It's everywhere. And with a bunch of people knowing Michael Myers, that set would go hard, especially being the first horror set of all time. Just a little mini set that would just be perfect enough to build and set up somewhere for anyone that was a horror fan. And it would be really cool if they started doing these like whole Lego sets as like exclusives in general. So this one I immediately was like, oh, this would be a great Spirit Halloween exclusive. They already got Spirit Halloween exclusive pop figures. Why not Lego sets? All right, for number 7, let's go back to Disney for a second, because again, being a Disney fan, I had another Disney thought process that I was just like, oh wow, that would be a really cool Lego set, and it'd be a little different, which I kind of am vibing with. So as I just showed you, they made that Simba set, right, that I bought, and I was like, wow, that's a great collectible version of Simba. What other iconic Disney characters could they do that with? And I started thinking about, well, a lot of the human characters would be really hard. Those probably fit better as minifigures, but the animal characters, and the first one that came to mind was my favorite Disney movie of all time, Hercules, but in particular, Pegasus. Oh, wouldn't it be so cool to just be able to build Pegasus, man? Again, not much really about this one. I just thought it was pretty cool because I think Hercules needs more recognition in pop culture. So this is my way of getting it out there, okay? Moving on to 8. Number 8. Now, this one was a pretty simple one, and I feel like it's just a matter of time before this one actually gets announced and debuted, if they haven't already, and that is Megatron. Now, this one is almost a no-brainer. This is gonna happen. We've already got Optimus Prime. I just, like I said, showed you, I bought the Bumblebee set, which took them a little bit to make, but hey, it's out. It just makes sense that now that they have 2 of the most famous Autobots of all time, you gotta make the most famous and ruthless Decepticon. And I would just make them very similar to how Optimus was. Bumblebee's a little bit smaller of a set, because obviously Bumblebee's smaller than like Optimus Prime. So it makes sense to make Megatron as big as the Optimus, or maybe even bigger, because I mean, why not? But they should definitely follow the whole animated version like they've done with the other 2 instead of like the Michael Bay films. If it doesn't happen within the next year or so, I'll be very surprised because it just makes so much sense. And of course, people are gonna buy it because they need to complete the collection. Number 9 is something that I was like, hey, let me get away from the classic pop culture stuff, because again, I'm a big pop culture guy. That was all that was in my head. But then I thought, okay, what's something else that would be super iconic that they haven't built yet that would also maybe resonate with some people? And I don't know why, but the first thought that came to my mind was food. And I was like, what is some kind of food that most people enjoy? And the first thing that came to my mind was popcorn. Now, that's very weird to me, and that's simply because I'm not a huge fan of popcorn, even though I love going to movie theaters and stuff. Probably 90% of the time, I'm not getting popcorn. But a lot of people love popcorn, and popcorn is one of the most iconic things you do at events, right? Most events, whether you're going to like a sporting event or the movie theater, or even something as simple as going to your kid's t-ball game, most of the time, there's popcorn because it's simple. So having an iconic popcorn machine as a Lego set just kind of vibes. And because most people that buy Lego sets are into pop culture, because again, it's how it's grown, I feel like a popcorn machine just fits the vibe of any man cave ever. And for anyone that has like a retro look into their house, I feel like a Lego popcorn machine just kind of, it kind of hits hard in my opinion. It's almost like tied to happiness at this point, right? You get some popcorn, you put some butter and salt on it, you're gonna have a good day, coming from the guy that never gets popcorn. But when I do, it's good. All right, and then for number 10 for this video, I had to go to video games, right? I was like, I haven't really touched a video game, and I'm like, I don't even know if there's a ton of video game stuff. I know Minecraft's a big thing in Legos, but I was like, what's a video game that I know there's a big fan base, it's just gonna keep growing, and honestly, it connects to what I love, and it's one of my favorite video games of all time, and that is Kingdom Hearts. They need to make a Keyblade, bro. That would go hard. So recently they made like a lightsaber collectible set, and I just think it would be so cool if they made something similar with the Keyblade. It would open up a whole new fan base to get into Legos, and it's one of the most iconic weapon choices in video game history. And this one could even take up less space because you could probably like fashion up a way to hang it on your wall, and people would come in and just be like, why do you have a giant key on the wall? And that's when you can just tell them the whole iconic story of the Heartless. I think that's a pretty good conversation starter if you ask me. And there we have it. We made it to the end of the list. Which one was your guys' favorite? And let me know down in the comments what iconic set you would like to see, and maybe I'll touch on it in the next video. Leave a like and subscribe, and check out this video right here because you'll probably enjoy that one as well, and I will see you over there. Bye-bye.